So the trade deadline came and went, and we were apparently in on some edge rushers, or at least we threw out some deals out there. Josh Allen was one that everyone reported that said we were really in that with Jacksonville. I don't know how close Jacksonville was to accepting any more trades. I don't know what we offered. That hasn't come out yet, but unfortunately, we did not come away with any edge rushers as we all hoped that would happen.
Woo!
Yeah,
Man.
close. But we did move some Chiefs. I'm not gonna say this is a player that a lot of Chiefs fans have had issues with as far as not being able to play the ball. He usually just kind of plays the defender, doesn't really play the ball. Rashad Fenton. A lot of Chiefs fans have had a lot to say about him. I thought he was a 6th-round talent. I thought he came in and did really well with us for being a 6th-rounder. He was great for what he was when we drafted him. He was solid with us. I know a lot of Chiefs fans have a lot to say about a lot of players, but I think Fenton was great for what he was. But we ended up trading him for a 7th-round pick to Atlanta, which freed up around $2 million for the team, leaving us with around $5 million to spend. So we have $5 million of cap space. We talked about OBJ still being a possibility as far as reports out there. But we talk about edge rush. We talk about interior defensive line help. The 3 names I've heard online: OBJ, Sheldon Richardson, and Ndamukong Suh. So what did you think about the Fenton trade, and who do you think we should be going after with the available funds that we have, which is about $5 million, JD?
I think Fenton played his heart out. I wish nothing but the best for the guy. But like you said, I think what he did for what he gave us was good. It was good. And so he got some young guys that got ability that they wanted to play. And so I think Fenton keeping him here might have been something that you was like, all right, is we keep a guy like that here. Is he gonna get any more burn this year? Because you got players. You got them all over the place. You got corners, right? And they've been doing extremely well. So what you start seeing how these guys have developed over time, over these 7, 8 games, you just like, well, this is the future. This is where we're making our moves to. Just be honest here, okay? And so Fenton may not have the ability these younger guys have. They don't have the upside these younger guys have. It's the reality of it. And so if you could save cap space and get him to a home that he's going to be happy with, hey, then all means let it work for everybody, right? And so I know it's sad for him to go. I'm sure he was really bummed out about it. But this is like the nature of the business. This is what happens. And so, especially during this time, guys are not really particularly like in the NFL, like you understand things that happen, especially if you're like that guy, you haven't really been playing and you hear talks around you and things can happen. It could be a little bit of nerve-wracking. So, like I said before, I just wish him the best. But these young guys out here, man, they ready to ball. They're ready to play. They're here playing together. And they got the ability to start in NFL. And I think it would be, tragic if we didn't put those guys out there to go out there and compete every week. Seriously. So, no, I like the trade. I do. I like it. And I hope he's happy with it as far as going there. A little tough, but, hey, it's NFL, man, how it works.
Yeah. I think it does speak to what we've talked about it all year. We went to that draft. There was two ways we could have gone with it. We could have gone edge rush heavy, which I thought you and I both thought we should have done that, but we didn't. We went secondary heavy, went DB heavy, and the guys we brought in, for the most part, all hit. What are you talking? We're talking about Josh Williams. He hit. Jalen Watson. He hit. And these are guys, number 2 and number 3 corners. I mean, so like we didn't really need that. Fenton was kind of more of another guy, right, in that rotation. And we got the younger guys who've really panned out. And McDuffie's coming back this week too. So like that was also another thing. It's like, okay, well, right now Fenton's more of just another guy to have. We want to kind of really develop the young guys we do have. So, we could save money and get Fenton out of here and then possibly pick up somebody. Yeah, it just shows the development we have and the love that we have for the young guys that we got in-house that we drafted this year.
Yeah, I mean, and that's trust. That's trust. And the thing was, we seen the trust develop with what he assigned these guys. You go against the best receivers in the game with Devontae Adams. You got Davis, and you got um,
Yeah, Mike Williams, Diggs.
Mike Williams, Diggs. I mean, going to get some huge names, man. Some best in the business at their position.
Yeah.
And so they pretty much held their own. We of course will say, oh well, Josh Williams gave up those 2 touchdowns, but he's right there. Technique, hey, if he turns his head, I keep talking about this. You trust him. You trust him for a reason. He's like, I wouldn't leave you on this island if I didn't trust you. I'm not just calling a play just to be calling it, because I don't have any other choice. Now he has, a lot of choices, but he made that choice because he trusted Joshua. So, hey man, these guys are ready. They're hungry. They got the ability. There's some dogs out there in that secondary, and so that's good for him. That's good for him. So I think it says more about the confidence he has in these guys as opposed to the lack of confidence he has in Fenton, right? So
yeah. And then McDuffie coming back, and then you had Watson and Williams who had to play the number 1 and number 2 cornerbacks for a large part of the season so far, and they did pretty well. And like you just said, against really top-notch receivers, some of the best in the game, and they held their own. So it's like, okay, well we have these guys who can fill in at 1 and 2 corners. Now you can move them into 2 and 3 with McDuffie coming back. So you have you have a young core in the secondary for years to come with those guys in particular. So with the $5 million, that's like that. I guess it's a lot of people say that's why we did the move, is to clear up space so we could make some moves right here. So where do you think we should go? So the 2 names, we said OBJ. We know how we feel about that one, but Sheldon Richardson, Ndamukong Suh, 2 guys that could be that next DT next to Chris Jones to help him out there with Wharton being gone. Derek Nottie hasn't really looked the part. Saunders has played well, but as far as that other DT spot, I feel like that's been talking about edge rush, which is coming at a premium at these days. But if we can't get edge rush, should we go maybe get somebody on the inside who can kind of be a force, a Suh type? I mean, where would you spend this money?
I mean, my money would have been spent on the defensive end. I would have tried to make that Josh Allen deal work. I'd have, for real. I'd have called them jokers 3 o'clock in the morning, like, listen, we got something else for you. What do you think? Can we get you? What we need to do. That's where my money would have went, no doubt about it. But if not, and if we need to get a defensive tackle, then yeah, absolutely get another guy in here. I keep going back to the same thing. Well, we using Suh, but does Suh want to play? I mean, he's probably, like I said, no telling what he's doing. He's doing a lot of community work, different things like that. So he could be okay where he is in life. So, we know we got the big boy Shelton in. He's here. We can pull him up from the practice squad to come out here and play, plug up some holes. We'll probably need a guy like that this week, especially dealing with what's coming into Arrowhead and Derrick Henry. And so, yeah, it would be important to get somebody beside Chris Jones that is doing a tremendous job and consistent. Saunders has been, pretty decent at times. He has his flashes. Said 92. I mean, these guys, but you need consistency from that position. You need more penetration from that position. You need guys to make a difference from that position besides Chris Jones all the time. Chris Jones is playing at a high level. I mean, he's playing an absolutely ridiculous season right now. And so the man said he was going to push for Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's trying to make an argument right now, man, for what he's been doing. Seriously. I mean, he's playing that position, defensive tackle, better than anybody else I've seen in the NFL right now. He's doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, I think right now, I don't know what the numbers are right now, but I would say that the 2 people that really pop off as far as Defensive Player of the Year would be Micah Parsons and Chris Jones. The 2 guys who are, obviously they do different things, but 2 guys are just game changers on that side of the ball, and they've really shown it this year so far.
Yeah, I think Parsons just, because of what he does pass rush wise, he's like the one trick pony, right? Chris could do it all.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. I had to evaluate the entire scope of what he brings to the team. But now I know he's a game changer. I know Parsons does that. Against the run, you lose him. Joker gets hit, he gets pushed around. He's just a smaller guy. So you got to be honest when we do an evaluation. And so, Chris, man, he's making plays in the backfield. He's getting sacks. He's hitting the quarterbacks. He's stripping the ball and getting it on the sack. I mean, you name it, man. He's just been playing at an absolute high level. So he's got my vote, but I'm biased. But he does.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, that a lot of people don't when they mention Micah Parsons, don't really mention the fact that he really is. It's a one sided thing with him. It's literally just pass rush.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd pay a lot for that right now, though.
Yeah, you and me both. Sure, that's the truth. That's a good game. Go get the ball. That's for sure.
He's gonna get paid whenever. I don't know when his contract's up, but he's gonna get paid whenever that comes. Whew. I'm looking here at the free agents list with as far as edge rushers. Man, it's bare out there. The first few names that pop up, you got Pernell McPhee, Everson Griffin, who at one point these guys were solid.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Are they going to make a difference? I mean, I don't think so. Kyler Fackrell, Benson Mayowa, Alex Okafor, D Ford. I know a lot of Chiefs fans like that name, D Ford. Yeah, there's not much out there. It's pretty rough. Yeah. Tack McKinley's another name I've seen a lot. He's been around the block. Yes, that's pretty much it. Yes, that's why I say if we're gonna maybe go for somebody, I would go for a Sue type because I feel like that DT he could bring more to the DT spot than any edge rusher we can bring at this point. I mean, it would give us another guy in the rotation, but will that guy be a difference maker? Where I think a Sue type could be a difference maker at the other DT spot. I mean, what do you think about that? If you were to go in and sign somebody right now, you probably lean DT over edge based on who's available.
Yeah. I mean, if the cupboard's bare, it's bare. Yeah. So, but we can't just get anybody in here. Yeah, it's got to be somebody like you said. Sue, you got to talk. I mean, you got to talk him into it. But he'll garnish double teams and whatnot. The name in itself will cause wreak some havoc. Just knowing his history. So we'll have some centers and guards trembling in they cleats. Believe me, just know they're coming up against him.
Him and Jones side by side be scary.
Oh man! Oh yeah!
And Sue went to Nebraska, right? I mean, is he from Nebraska? I mean, I can't think of one of the closest NFL teams to Nebraska. I got to figure that. Sure, a lot of Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where he's from. To be honest with you.
Okay, so what's in Nebraska? Okay, no, he's from Portland, Oregon. So no, nowhere near. Never mind. But went to Nebraska, so he's got a lot of the big red nation. I'll be all over. Love that signing in Kansas City. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that $5 million. I mean, because they did the Fenton trade for specific reasons. So I'm curious what that is, or if it's just money to have clear up space just to have extra money for whatever reason happens. But hi everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.